Hello and welcome back to our podcast. My name is Dr. Alison. I'm the CEO and founder of Human Focus Limited, a company that is absolutely dedicated and committed to creating happier and healthier organizations, communities, nations, and most importantly, humans all around. Today, I really wanted to touch on something that is a little bit maybe sensitive, but I have to. It's about the noise that is so loud around us. It's almost hard to ignore, isn't it? The wars, the unrest, the disturbing headlines, the images that are sitting so long on our screens, well after we've actually closed them. I just feel a sense of confusion that is already in the air. And whether we admit it or not, I think it's clear and I think it's fair to say that it's affecting all of us, even if we're not in the war zones, even if we're not directly impacted. The nervous system does not distinguish so easily. And there is the technicality issues. We are absorbing way more than we actually realize. And yet, just yet, life continues. Life is still continuing. You see, business still needs running. Teams still need leading. Families are still needing someone to hold them up. So what do we do when the world feels unstable, but we're so cold to show up each time? I just have this feeling that the world is asking more of us now. The world right now is not asking for noise, it's asking for steadiness. Are you firm on your feet? It's asking for leaders who can think on their feet, but somehow remain grounded. Because you see, crisis does something, I think, extraordinary. It exposes. It reveals what you run to. It reveals who you run to. It reveals what grounds you. And it reveals what truly anchors you. When the markets shake and the headlines are screaming everything else. And you know, I have business friends in Dubai and all over the world. And what they've shown me in the last few days is something profound. They operate in proximity to tension, and yet they operate in a region where geopolitical shifts are actually not theoretical. They're actually tangible. They see them. They're visual. It's scary and almost unimaginable. But yet, business continues. Deals are made. Relationships are being strengthened. Life moves. Life is happening. Not because they're unaffected, but because they feel anchored. They're anchored. And that really struck me. You see, this is no different from business when crisis hits internally. When funding falls through, when our plans aren't quite working out, when partnerships fracture, when health scares arrive unannounced. I'm speaking, and I hope I'm speaking to somebody today. The question is always the same. What do you run to? Who do you run to? When do you decide to run? I want us to bring in the science of a moment, in science for a little moment here. When we're exposed to constant uncertainty, the brain has the fear center. The fear center becomes hyperactive. It scans for danger. It's like a computer. It tightens the body. It's closing the loopholes. It narrows perception. You stop seeing possibilities. You start seeing threats. Now, we're in survival mode. But leadership cannot live in survival mode for so long or forever. The prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that is actually responsible for, clarity, strategic thought, reasoning, only functions well when we feel regulated. So in times like this, yes, the real leadership work is not just strategic. In fact, it ceases to be strategic. It is neurological. It is learning to be calm in yourself so that you can think clearly while everything else around you is spiraling, while all the ports around you are spilling out. That is discipline. The Stoics said something very powerful. You have power over your mind, not outside events. And this was written by Marcus during war. It wasn't during comfort. And the biblical wisdom also echoes on this when it says, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. So stillness in chaos is authority. It's actually saying the world may be shaking. Oh yes, I hear that. I see that. But my core would not be shaken. This is not about ignoring the suffering. It's not about ignoring what is happening around us. It's about responding wisely to it. You see, my mother would say, when the wind blows, the trees would, with the deepest roots do not fall. In Shona, in my mother's tongue, she would have said, kana mepo ichivuvuta muti wakadzikisisa midzi haungodoni. Depth matters in times like this. Foundations matter in times like this. Surface leadership collapses under pressure, you see, but rooted leadership steadies others. You need to steady those around you. And my mama would say something even more simpler. Listen for the bigger voice that is above the noise. Terera inzuguru runopfura rujarwese should say, because in crisis there are many voices, aren't they? The media voice, the angry voices, the fearful voices, the reactive voices, but there's always a bigger voice. The voice of wisdom, the voice of alignment, the voice of whatever or whoever you believe in. The question is, can you hear it? With all the loud noises, can you hear it? You see, watching my friends in different parts of the world that are affected, I realized something. They are not reckless. They are measured. I didn't know this about them until now. They double down on relationships. They protect trust. They prioritize clarity. Because in unstable times, trust becomes currency. May I repeat, trust becomes currency. The same is true in your business. When crisis hits, do you panic or do you pause? Do you communicate or retreat? What do? Do you tighten your grip or do you deepen your listening? What do? The leaders who endure turbulences are not always the loudest, believe me you. Often, they're the calmest. The ones with the Zen, holding on to the Zen mode. You see, there are moments in leadership when you do not have the luxury of, the long-term plans that we have usually as business people. You have perhaps 5 minutes. And it's in those 5 minutes and in those moments, something deeper than strategy must kick in. And it always does kick in. In religion or religiously, we call it discernment. We call it instinct. We call it inner conviction. We call it all sorts of things, don't we? That only works if you've done the inner work beforehand. You cannot access calm in crisis if you've never practiced calm and quiet. Believe me, you. You cannot hear wisdom in chaos. You cannot if you've never learned to sit still. And still as in sit with it. You see? Now, I don't want to pretend. And I don't want to mask anything. There are real losses that are happening around the world right now. There's real pain. There's real grief. And there's lots of displacement that is happening. Hope does not mean ignoring suffering, absolutely not. But it means to love anyway. It's choosing to build anyway. It's choosing to lead anyway, because humanity has survived darker chapters than this. And what has carried us through every time is our faith, our communities, our courage, our compassion. And here's what I absolutely believe, is that uncertain moments do not make you any less. They reveal you. They show you what you are made of. They show you who you are. You know, they refine your voice. They deepen your empathy, your emotional regulation. And often it is in these moments, these uncertain seasons, that we think on our feet and discover we're actually much stronger than we knew. So if the world feels really heavy right now, I ask you, what voice are you listening to? In fact, ask yourself, what is anchoring me right now? What becomes what becomes my safe space? Who becomes safer because I choose calm today? And what voice am I still listening to? Because the world is calling for more than it has ever asked of us before. It's asking for more clarity. It's asking for more compassion, more courage. And that calling is landing on you. You see, in times when things seem shaky, be the steady one. In times of noise, be the listening one. In times of panic, oh yes, be the thinking one. And when it feels like it's sort of overspilling, return to stillness. Return to that bigger voice above the chaos. The wind may blow, oh yes, but rooted trees, as my mom says, do not fall. So until next time, please stay anchored. I beg you, stay human and lead your calm through the change. Because it's probably that change that could change the room that you're currently sitting in. So from me to you, from Human Focus Limited to your organization, to your communities, to your nations, it's goodbye for now. Until next time, please do tune in again next Wednesday. Sending you